again, he's a tough one to pick comments from because he only fielded about 4 or 5 questions, and that took about 30 minutes for him to answer them. As we saw at SEC Media Days, what I think he fielded 3 questions at the main podium, but one of the keys there, the offensive line, that's something that under Mike Bobo and Will Friend, Auburn fans anxious to see how this unit, that's one that Gus Malzahn, for all his better points, offensive line recruiting and development ain't one of them. So they've got, I wouldn't say a mess on their hands because they do return plenty of experience, but the offensive line is going to be critical considering the fact that, we all know Bo Nix, how inconsistent he can be, and you got to assume that the offense is going to run through Tank Bigsby, but that ain't going to work if the offensive line doesn't hold up, doesn't come together. So Bryan Harsin shared his thoughts on what he's seeing from his offensive line.
Hey, Bryan, obviously you talk about the front seven on defense seemingly having a decent night. How do you then evaluate the offensive line play? Obviously that's a big focus. How did they do in your eyes?
Yeah, solid at times. I think this, a little inconsistent. I stand back and just know my vantage point here. I stand back behind the offense and I get to see the quarterback. I get to watch the O-line, I get to watch the protection in the backs. And so, I kind of see every little thing, and I'm pretty critical of that group. They did move the ball. We ran the ball. They did come off the ball. They did strike. We missed some blocks in there. We just flat out missed them. It wasn't, and it was really just, we got to communicate it. So those things, we have to correct. A couple penalties that we had, some false starts that, we'll get corrected. We need to address and continue that moving forward, and they'll see that. But overall, there were some good things that they did better in pass protection. I thought we were able to run the ball and get downhill in the scrimmage, so there was some positive that way. And I think for the O-line, it's always about consistency. When you've got the D-line right up in your face and you've got guys trying to get off and penetrate, like we're going to see, you got to be really, really good up front. And I think our O-line is improved. Now as we move forward, it's got to be the consistency from those guys up front, that we have got to handle our assignments, and we've got to make sure that we're on the right people, and then just being physical. At the end of the day, just being physical. We got to come off. We got to strike, and we've got to be able to move the line of scrimmage to be able to run the ball the way we want to, and we did that at times. We want to be more consistent up front. So we've improved, but we're not where we need to be, and our guys know that. And I think that's the best thing about that group right now is they're willing to work. I do like that about that group. And so this next week, we still have time to keep improving, and I expect as we get in that second scrimmage that we'll make those corrections and we'll be better up front, and we'll have that consistency that we're looking for.
All right, and in addition to those comments, Harsin also talked about the quarterbacks, and he didn't really give any individual keys or notes here at all, but he was asked about a 2-quarterback system, and again, he's kind of coy. He's playing it coy, but he said he's done that before. He's not afraid to do it. So what does that tell you? I don't know about Bo Nix and how he's performing. Or maybe just TJ Finley's looking that good. Let's kick it over to Bryan Harsin one more time on the quarterbacks.
Ryan Hennessy.
Coach, so far through, you said eight practices, the progression of the quarterback, you kind of talked about already, but a lot of fans are wondering what this Bryan Harsin offense is going to look like. Is there an opportunity where you would have 2 quarterbacks playing on September 4th, or are you kind of sticking to one guy by the end of this with the depth chart?
Yeah, well, come September 4th, I've done that before, so that's not out of possibilities. And let's be clear, that's not what we're working towards right now. I mean, right now we're developing each quarterback to go out there and play the position and be the quarterback. I've used multiple quarterbacks for situational things, and because guys deserve to play at that position. I've coached some good players, starters and backups. As far as the offense goes, again, we're in that part of camp right now where it's a lot of the base, it's repeating a lot of the base, and the run game, the protections, the pass game. It's really a lot of the things right now that are our base that we can build from and add on to moving forward. But the most important thing, not so much scheme-wise, is the fundamentals of those guys in those positions. We just talked about the O-line. And part of that is our assignment, and part of that is making sure that, when we know our assignment, we don't miss it, and we're able to execute it, and we can go out there and just, play the basic fundamentals of the game at a high level.
All right, so interesting comments here from Harsin. He would go on to say, the receivers have been playing well, and obviously that's going to help out Bo Nix, TJ Finley, whoever it is, a quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. But, I was kind of expecting him to come out here and kind of say, this is Bo's team, if that was the case, and he didn't say that. So, I don't know. I don't know how much you read into, again, first scrimmage, but Bo Nix was there in the spring. TJ Finley wasn't. I think most of us assume that Bo Nix was running away with this thing, but that may not be the case, and that is something to monitor here at Auburn, because if Bo Nix, for all his talent, if he cannot put it together or doesn't fit quite in this offense, it truly wouldn't be a stunner, I don't think, if TJ Finley won this job. Not saying that's going to happen. It would be a surprise, but it just would not stun me because we all know TJ Finley. I know he was inconsistent as well last year as a true freshman for LSU, but he certainly had some highlights of his own.